oddly enough,
Oh my
Dombrowski came
God.
out and pretty much trashed Harper, just saying, he's not
Wasn't
that
just
player
Harper.
anymore. I mean, he came out and said
He
that Bryce
trashed
Harper's
Harper. He trashed
probably
Strahm.
not that. He said he's probably not that elite player anymore. Like, I don't know if he's trying to light a fire under his ass or if he's just trying to get canned because, I mean, if they're not good this year, they're probably moving on from Dombrowski, which they've been good, right? But being good and winning divisions and making the playoffs isn't what we consider being good. Like, they made two World Series runs. What they lost, they dreadful loss to Houston a few years back, and the next year couldn't beat the Diamondbacks when they were up. What was it, 3-1 or whatever the series was? They were in
Well,
complete control and lost.
they were up 2-0, and then they were up 3-2. But that was 3 years ago, right? They
And
lost
then
in the
it,
first round 2 years in a row.
and then they lost to the
So
Mets.
I'm gonna go off here. I'm gonna go off here, right? This is gonna take a minute, okay? So the Dombrowski comments. Do you think that the Dombrowski comments themselves were all that bad, or do you think it was Philly media making them seem that bad? Because Dombrowski came out and basically said Bryce Harper did not have an elite season, so I can't say he's elite. Can he have an elite season again? Yes, absolutely. Will he? I don't know. I mean, he's just basically saying fact. I mean, he didn't have to. I agree. He probably could have went about answering the question that was asked a little bit better, but he didn't say anything wrong. He said Bryce Harper hit 260 and 27 home runs. That's a normal player, or 270, whatever he had, 267 and 27 home runs. That's a normal average baseball player. I mean, that's a solid to good baseball player. It's not an elite baseball player. He's not one of the best first basemen in baseball with those numbers. He's not even close. We watched probably the best first baseman in baseball get in the World Series this year in Vlad Guerrero, and he was way better than Bryce Harper this season. So you can't say what Dombrowski said was awful, right? It wasn't the worst thing in the world. But to me, what made it bad was the fact that the media ran with it. And the media was like, are the Phillies going to trade Bryce Harper? And then the second Philadelphia media, which is the worst thing on the planet, and I'm going to get to that later, comes out and says, are the Phillies going to trade Bryce Harper? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're a sports analyst in Philadelphia, and you come out with a comment that is, are the Phillies going to trade Bryce Harper? Or basically saying they think the Phillies might trade Bryce Harper. You should lose your job. You should lose your job immediately for saying that.
Yeah,
There's
but
like,
that's what they do. That's exactly what they want to do. They want people to get talking about it, and they want people to call their show and listen to their show. I mean, you know what I mean? It's rage bait is really what it is. But I mean, I don't think the Phillies would trade him. But I mean, he does need to produce more than he did.
yeah, if they're not, you can't trade Bryce Harper. You can't trade Bryce Harper. I'm sorry, you can't do it. That's just if you trade Bryce Harper, you lose any bit of like fandom that you've gotten in the past however many years since they signed him. Or let's say since 2022 when they made the World Series. Your ticket sales will plummet, absolutely plummet. It'll be insane, dude. It'll be absolutely insane. You can't do it. So I don't know. I just think
I mean, look, I think that if you watch the Dodgers and the Dodgers are stacked, and now they got one of the best closers in baseball, and they have the highest payroll by a long shot. I mean,
yeah.
especially factoring in the back end money they're going to owe to Otani. But it's like the Yankees for years tried to buy teams, right? And it hasn't worked out for them. It worked out for the Dodgers. And not that the top four did anything really. They were kind of shut down by everybody that played them, but they did enough to win a World Series. You know what I mean? And going into next season, look at the Phillies lineup versus the Dodgers lineup. The Phillies have no business beating the Dodgers. And I mean,
I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I agree with that. I think we do the same thing with the Phillies. Well, we do the same thing with the Dodgers that we do with the Phillies. I mean, obviously the Dodgers have Otani. Otani's absolutely insane. But and Freddie Freeman's Freddie Freeman, but Freddie Freeman hasn't been like you know, great in a decent amount of time. He's still really good. He's still borderline elite, but I don't know if Freddie Freeman's what he used to be. And Mookie Betts isn't even close to what he used to be. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
Mookie Betts
their
had a
role
terrible
players,
year this year.
their role players produce
That's the ticket right there, and
five,
that's where
three
I
times.
think, but that's where I think Dombrowski needs to take more heat than he does. He's not taking any heat for those secondary players and just kind of rolling with the regular. Like, think about it. I mean, the Dodgers have a bunch of high payroll guys, but also like their Nick Castellanos contract is Hernandez, who is awesome, and
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos sucks, right? They're like low money guys are making less money than Alec Boehm, and then when the time comes for them to have to hit the baseball, they do it, and Alec Boehm doesn't, right? Their outfielders are like Kike Hernandez stepping in, or Edman, who won a World Series MVP, and our secondary guys, the lower level guys, are Brandon Marsh, who hits .07 in the playoffs this year, or Bryson Stott, who has 2 hits. Like at some point in time, some of these guys have to step up, but then there's the other side of it where it's like, hey man, they haven't, so you need to find guys that will. Like I
Yeah.
think this year he did. This year he went out at the trade deadline and he said, "I'm going to get Harrison Bader." Harrison Bader's not a he's not a needle moving great player, but he's great in the playoffs. He's a big time bat, and unfortunately he got hurt because the guy was 2 for 2 in the playoffs with a walk, or 1 for 2
Yeah.
with I know he struck out in the one at bat, but it was 11 pitch at bat and the only at bat that was that long in the game that he came in, and then he had a single in his only at bat before he got hurt, and
Well,
then
and
he
the
went out and got
problem,
a closer.
and the problem, and I mean, they get Johan back, right?
Who? Duran?
Durant, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, they got Duran for a couple of years.
Okay. Because I mean, Bader was a rental who, knowing that they need outfielders, they couldn't even keep him. I mean, I think it's going to be a huge loss to the outfield downgrading now that you're going to have, you know, hypothetically still Castellanos on the roster and essentially being, $1 million plus guy sitting on the bench. It's just going to be, I just don't see how it's going to pan out for the Phillies, being that the outfield's going to be worse, the infield's going to be the same, and there's still nobody to put behind Schwarber that makes sense. Like, why are you going to pitch him? He hit 50 home runs. Why are you going to pitch to him? If Bryson Stott's hitting behind him, or JT Romuto's hitting behind him, or somebody that's not hitting the ball, or not going to be hitting the ball out of the park, like they need another bat in the worst way. And I mean, now that it's almost it's almost January, so spring training's starting in a month and a half, essentially, and they really haven't done anything to make me think that they're not going to do the same thing they've done next year. I mean, honestly, where they stand right now, I don't even think they're going to win the division next season. But it's, I mean, it's look,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
maybe the guys